While the fourth season of Steven Universe had a handful of episodes that were lackluster, there were still gems to be had, so let's jump right into my fifth favorite episode. I had a rather hard time deciding which episode takes this spot, but in the end I decided the zoo was my fifth favorite due to the interesting concept of domesticated humans. It's a creepy and awkward living situation the homeworld gems have set up for the abducted humans that's a mix of both utopia and dystopia. It's a representation of ignorance is bliss taken to the most extreme. The episode sets up far more questions and runaway trains of thought than it could ever hope to answer. What's the gene pool of the population like? Do the gems know of inbreeding, and what lengths have they gone to avoid that? How is this a society where pain is foreign? Surely somebody must fall down and scrape themselves now and then. Are the people split up by age groups? And what if childbirth? Is the process somehow automated, with a human being put out of commission during most of the unpleasant moments? How are elderly humans about to kick the bucket removed without making the community miss them and be sad about it? Then there's questions about the history of the zoo. How much trial and error was there? How many lives were sacrificed to achieve the current efficiency of the zoo? There are so many horrible and dark places one's mind can go when thinking about all the possible implications of such a facility. The focus on the zoo is too short to allow for exploration of these sorts of questions, and countless more, but Steven Universe is obviously a show that isn't going to cram that level of depth in anyway. I mean, we as an audience still have to swallow the fact that gems and humans share a universal language. Steven Universe isn't a cartoon concerned with sci-fi nitty-grittiness and finer details. But the episode was still interesting, and I can appreciate being made to ponder about various minutiae, even if the episode itself barely explores themes beyond the subservience of humans and the illusion of happiness. While it's nowhere close to exploring its potential, the zoo still managed to have more food for thought than most sci-fi movies that come out nowadays. The first half or so of the Good Lars is filled with the standard Steven Universe cuteness and charm, as we learn about a skill Lars has that he is of course ashamed of, his proficiency at baking. It's pretty standard feel-good fluff as Steven and Sadie try to cheer Lars on, but it works, and I do love me some ube myself, so I can very much relate to the dish being tasty. But what makes this episode score a spot in my top 5 is what all that Lars development culminates in. Lars is still unable to grasp his chance at happiness due to his crippling insecurity. The pep talks of Steven and Sadie were still not enough, and that felt so real and legitimate. There's so much weight and feeling present in the scene where we see the ube in the trash can. Lars put all this effort and care into making something that represents him, but he can't summon the courage to share who he is with others. It's very relatable and handled brilliantly. Even Sadie gets some sweet character development. She realizes she might be integrating characteristics of her mother she dislikes into her own identity.
Maybe I should be trying to fix my life instead of his.
But on a positive note, Sadie manages to open up and bond with others, to come out of her shell and share her own talent, and she makes new friends that she finds legitimately nice and cool. Overall, the episode is a bittersweet experience that captures a lot of the emotional hurdles of growing up. Garnet gives Stevani a lesson in mindful education on how to maintain emotional stability in a fusion, but the lesson extends to all walks of life when dealing with emotional pain. The use of butterflies as negative thoughts was an interesting design choice. I think it was to highlight that these thoughts are natural and not inherently dangerous. They are just aspects of ourselves that are there. The thoughts will come, and some will be painful, but we don't have to lose ourselves to their influence or make those thoughts fester. The episode is extremely aesthetically pleasing, the visual and sound design is firing on all cylinders, and it's just so fitting that an episode about the personal aspects of fusion feels like a unique experience. It's great to be reminded that Steven feels incredibly guilty regarding Bismuth and others, and that these characters are not forgotten. They left a lasting impact on Steven's psyche. To top it all off, the episode's pacing was on point, and the concluding shot was just fantastic.
I'm here.
Steven's dream has the gem boy astral project in his sleep yet again, and this time he sees through the eyes of none other than Blue Diamond! And he cries her tears too! Seriously, if nothing else, the episode packed a wallop for just dropping BD down on the earth in the manner it did, and even if I should have seen it coming by the time we saw the fresh blue palanquin,
Actually, it's pronounced Palanquin.
I still didn't think Blue Diamond in person would be making trips to Earth to pay respects to the site of Pink Diamond's death, but here's her full reveal, and I've got to say, it's much more exhilarating than it was in Garnet's story. Her voice is just amazing, and suits her somber and mournful personality exquisitely. Of the two diamonds we've seen so far, Blue Diamond is by far my favorite. Sorry, Yellow. Greg's interactions with her were also tragically sweet, and ending the episode with his abduction was quite the cliffhanger. Of course, beyond just Blue Diamond, I also loved seeing Steven finally asking hard questions and wanting answers for his own sake. While he may have handled it a tad callously, his outburst was from exerting self-respect, and he really does deserve to know the full truth when Homeworld is involved with the Earth to the extent that it is. To top it off, the episode's background designs for Korea were especially lustrous and gorgeous, and for once, I actually really loved the fun montage intermission. It was short and sweet enough that it didn't distract from the main intrigue of the episode. Steven's dream was just a very satisfying and exciting episode. When people complain about filler in Steven Universe, it's usually because events in Beach City, entirely unrelated to Homeworld affairs, can feel quite underwhelming. To put it bluntly, some episodes are just not entertaining or interesting enough. Then, occasionally, we get an amazing Beach City episode that completely blows me away, and highlights what sorts of amazing scenarios and character development can occur when thought and care is put into crafting the episode's plot. Last one out of Beach City might not just be my favorite Season 4 episode, I think it might just be my favorite Steven Universe episode to have been released so far. It's so damn fun. The premise of the episode is the clash between Pearl's current Goody Two-Shoes persona and her old persona as a, well, let me let Garnet phrase it.
Terrifying renegade Pearl.
Basically, Pearl wants to connect with Amethyst and have fun by connecting to the badder and edgier version of herself from the past. What results is an amazing adventure of jackets, drinking, being mesmerized by pink-haired babes that resemble your old love, shooting your new crush looks on the open road, running red lights, and being chased by cops, all to the blaring garage rock beats of Mike Krol. Pearl, you are the fucking coolest. Pearl not only earns Amethyst's respect and admiration, she even gets the mystery girl's phone number, and after Pearl realizes she's a total rock star, we get the greatest ending credits Steven Universe could ever conceivably have. This episode is just so incredible and packs so much zest, so much energy, so much spirit and heart. What a sublime experience that just makes you want to play Mike Krol on repeat for days on end while pumping your fist into the air. This episode is Steven Universe at its best. Those were the episodes I liked most out of Season 4. I had a hard time deciding the order of number 4 through number 2, but placing Last One Out of Beach City as number 1 was one of the easiest decisions I've ever had to make in my whole life. I just cannot stress enough how much I love that episode. Let me know what your personal favorites were and why in the comments, and thank you for watching.